pray. And it's like, well, in the same way that you just kind of accepted that premise and didn't really think about it, I kind of now want you to think about the premise of, if you're saying God is in control, what does that mean?
Right.
Right. We've said that a few times on this. There's a lot of like Christianese.
Oh, yeah.
Right? God's on the throne. God's in control.
Right.
But I don't believe in the doctrines of grace. Okay, well, then what does that mean if God's in control?
Right.
And then, you have guys like Bill Johnson who come out and they clarify that, and they're like, well, God's in charge, but we're in control.
Yeah.
And then I would say, okay, well, now you're stepping into heresy.
Right.
But he's at least trying to divide that for his listeners.
For his people.
Because he's trying to figure it out.
He's a little God.
Well, that's the point. I mean, his little God.
That's what people
mini Christ.
Want. They don't want to allow God to be the sovereign. They want to be the one that's calling the shots. And
absolutely.
It's like, man, that is definitely stepping into some heresy, for sure.
Right. Well, that's a great point. You can see how the mini God or mini Christ theology, which we're all kind of, and we've talked about it before, we're all kind of mini Christs and mini gods, because even Francis Chan just came out just a few and basically said, because the Holy Spirit dwells in me, we're basically the hypostatic union. We're half God and half man. And it was kind of preaching this mini Christ theology.
Francis
Chan. Can you believe it? There's a clip on.
Definitely gonna look that one up.
I think if you go to Biblical and Reformed on the Instagram account, Biblical and Reformed, she put a nice, 5 or 8 minute clip up there with some commentary. But my point was, when you have that theology, it ultimately has to move into what Bill Johnson has said. In charge, but we're in control. Okay, well, now you're playing a word game. What does in charge mean?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm babysitting a group of kids and I'm in charge, but they're in control, well, what does that mean?
Right.
If I'm in charge, that means you do what I say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like this weird word game that they play, to where they're trying to define God's sovereignty with also them having their own free will and being in charge as well. And it just doesn't work.
Well,
Either God is in control or he isn't.